You'll discover why loneliness is hitting men harder than ever and what science reveals about how to overcome it. We'll also share 3 powerful strategies to reclaim your sense of purpose and connection. Don't miss this, it might just change your life. Why don't men talk about loneliness? It's not because they don't feel it. In fact, men over 50 face some of the highest rates of loneliness, especially after events like divorce. But acknowledging it, that's a different story. From an early age, men are often taught to embody traits like strength, independence, and emotional restraint, values rooted in traditional masculinity. These ideals can create an unspoken rule that admitting feelings like loneliness is a sign of weakness. And so, men stay silent, even when the emotional toll becomes unbearable. This silence, however, comes at a price. Life events, like divorce or aging, often strip away the social connections that anchored them. For many men, their role as a provider or partner has shaped how they see themselves. When that role disappears, so does a significant part of their identity. Instead of reaching out, men might channel their emotions into work, binge-watching sports, or excessive drinking. Studies show that lonely older men are heavier drinkers compared to their peers, using alcohol as a coping tool rather than addressing the real problem. It's not just about avoiding the feeling, it's about burying it altogether. Picture untreated loneliness as a silent injury. If ignored, it doesn't stay the same, it spreads. Over time, it affects the body and the mind in ways that aren't always obvious. Men internalize their struggles so thoroughly that they may not even label their experience as loneliness, even when they feel isolated. Unlike women, who tend to maintain deeper emotional networks, men's social ties often revolve around work or a partner. When those connections fade, men are left with little, and that void quietly eats away at their well-being. Here's the irony. These masculine ideals that once gave men a sense of strength and resilience can now hold them back. Research shows men are less likely than women to seek help, partly because the idea of needing support conflicts with the norm of self-sufficiency. But this reluctance to seek help means missed chances for connection, understanding, and ultimately, healing. Social norms don't just discourage men from speaking out, they minimize their pain altogether. Emotional vulnerability is often dismissed, making it even harder to break the cycle of isolation. Yet, the truth is, admitting loneliness isn't a sign of weakness, it's a necessary step toward regaining control. By acknowledging what they feel, men can begin to rebuild, redefine their roles, and reconnect in ways they might not have thought possible. And this awareness isn't just emotional. It directly impacts health, aging, and quality of life, which we'll explore next. What if loneliness could harm your health as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? That's not just a catchy phrase, it's backed by research. A meta-analysis co-authored by Julianne Holt-Lundstad found that the effects of loneliness are comparable to those of smoking or even alcohol dependency. What makes this even more concerning is how often these risks go unnoticed, especially for men over 50. The physical and mental toll of loneliness doesn't show up overnight, but it steadily chips away at health in ways that are easy to miss until it's too late. Loneliness doesn't just stay in your head, it leaves a distinct mark on your body. According to U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, it's linked to a 29% increased risk of heart disease, a 32% increased risk of stroke, and it raises the odds of developing dementia in older adults by 50%. These aren't small percentages. They reflect the very real impact that isolation has on the most critical systems in the body. And for men, who are already less likely to openly discuss health concerns, these risks often go unchecked for longer periods. Beyond that, loneliness triggers physiological changes that make the body more vulnerable. Stephen Cole, MD, led a study showing that loneliness can activate long-term stress responses, leaving the immune system compromised. Over time, this lowers immunity and increases inflammation, making men more susceptible to illnesses they might otherwise fend off. It's like putting your body in a constant state of distress, with no relief in sight. Now, let's make this more real. Imagine a divorced man in his 50s, living alone without the strong social ties he once had through a partner or job. Without emotional support or regular social interaction, he may turn to alcohol. Statistics show lonely men are heavier drinkers than women in similar situations. On the outside, he may seem fine, just focusing on his career or enjoying solitary hobbies. But inside, the isolation makes every system in his body more vulnerable. Whether it's his heart, his brain, or his emotional resilience, the damage accumulates, and without a support system, recovery becomes even harder. Then there's the emotional cost, feelings of purposelessness and diminished self-esteem. Over time, those feelings bleed into physical health, creating a feedback loop of isolation and decline. This isn't just about feeling better emotionally. It's about stopping a trajectory that shortens lives and reduces quality of life. But here's the hope. Addressing loneliness doesn't just halt the damage, it can actually reverse it. In the next section, we'll focus on taking actions that break the cycle and redefine what purpose and connection look like. What if overcoming loneliness isn't just about finding people to talk to, but redefining how you see yourself? For men over 50, breaking the cycle of isolation requires more than filling an empty calendar. It's about shifting the way they think about their identity and purpose, especially after life changes like divorce or retirement. Traditional expectations surrounding masculinity, being the provider, the protector, often prevent men from asking for help or exploring new facets of their lives. When those roles disappear, the question becomes, without them, who are you? This struggle is a major reason men feel stuck in their loneliness. Many men were taught from an early age to associate their value with their independence and achievements. While these traits may help professionally, they can also act like blinders, keeping men from seeing opportunities to connect or try something new. It's not easy to step into unfamiliar territory, but it's also where meaningful transformations happen. The good news? This change doesn't require drastic measures, just intentional steps toward finding meaning outside those traditional roles. One of the most effective ways to combat loneliness is by engaging in activities that create a sense of pride or purpose. Volunteering is a great example. Think of mentoring younger men in your field or helping out with community projects. Not only do you give back, but you also surround yourself with people who appreciate your contributions. Hobbies also play a powerful role here. Whether it's painting, gardening, or even woodworking, activities like these provide fulfillment while naturally connecting you with others who share your passions. For men, redefining their purpose often begins with rediscovering what they enjoy outside of work or family obligations. But here's the catch. Building emotional connections takes practice. Women, on average, develop these skills earlier because society encourages them to form emotional support networks. For men, the process may feel awkward at first, but joining groups based on shared interests, like men's sheds, can make it easier. These spaces encourage connection and purpose without judgment. Research shows that programs like these go beyond combating loneliness. They boost mental health and quality of life by fostering a sense of belonging. For those still unsure about taking those steps, mental health support is another critical piece. Online or local therapy sessions can provide a safe space to unpack emotions and build strategies. It's also worth noting that some services, like social prescribing, link people with activities or groups tailored to their needs. These simple, intentional changes create a ripple effect. Each small connection has the potential to transform how men view not only the world, but their place within it. Loneliness isn't a life sentence. It's a challenge that can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life if faced head-on. Studies show that social connection is a basic human need, essential for survival and well-being. For men over 50, this starts by recognizing that seeking connection isn't a weakness, but an act of strength. The first step might be reaching out, joining a group, or finding a new purpose beyond traditional roles. Vulnerability isn't failure, it's the pathway to growth. You have the power to reshape your future, one small action at a time. Connection can change not only your days, but your years.